From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, April the 17th, 2017. U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis left Washington today for the Middle East. According to the Department of Defense, Mattis will reaffirm key U.S. military alliances and engage with strategic partners while in the region. The trip includes stops in Saudi Arabia and Egypt before Mattis arrives in Israel on Friday. He will meet with Israeli President Reuven Rivlin, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman. The secretary will also participate in a wreath-laying ceremony at Yad Vashem, Israel's living memorial to the Holocaust. The Times of Israel reports that a Palestinian delegation will head to Washington next week, ahead of a reported visit there by Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. The report cites senior Fatah official Azam al-Ahmad telling the Jordanian paper Al-Gad that the delegation will hold a preliminary meeting with the U.S. administration on April the 23rd, and that Abbas will meet with U.S. President Donald Trump on May the 3rd to discuss a two-state solution with Israel, among other issues. These dates were not confirmed by the White House or by the PA. Israeli forces clashed with Palestinian rioters this morning in the West Bank. The rioters were demonstrating outside the Ofer prison in support of hunger-striking Palestinian prisoners. The prisoners, who are demanding better conditions, are being led by Fatah leader Marwan Barghouti, who was convicted in 2004 on 5 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder for terror attacks against Israeli civilians. He is serving 5 life terms in an Israeli jail. Yesterday, the New York Times published an op-ed piece written by Barghouti in which he explains the hunger strike. At the bottom of the piece, the Times describes Barghouti as a Palestinian leader and parliamentarian, making no mention of his terrorist acts. Israeli politicians and the IDF sharply criticized the omission, as did the American Jewish Committee, who wrote on its Twitter page that the New York Times must have forgotten to mention that Marwan Barghouti is a convicted terrorist responsible for the murder of innocent civilians. The young British woman murdered on Friday in a terror attack in Jerusalem is being mourned by the university she was attending in the city. Hebrew University and the Rothberg International School released a statement expressing their deep sorrow over the death of 21-year-old Hannah Bladden, who was part of a student exchange program at Hebrew U. As we reported to you on Friday, Bladden was stabbed to death by a Palestinian terrorist who reportedly has serious mental health issues. 57-year-old Jamil Tamimi told investigators that he attacked Bladden, hoping that the soldier standing next to her would in turn kill him. A Chabad rabbi who was severely beaten 6 months ago has died. 64-year-old Rabbi Mendel Dietsch was attacked at a train station in Ukraine last October, which left him comatose. He was airlifted to Israel for medical treatment but never regained consciousness. The attack was believed to have been criminal in nature and not anti-Semitic. Dietsch had served for many years as a Chabad Lubavitch emissary in France and in Israel. He was in Ukraine for the high holidays. And rabbi and civil rights activist Saul Lehman has died. Lehman led conservative congregations in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. He was known for his work to promote interfaith and racial understanding and took part in the famous Selma to Montgomery March of 1965 with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Lehman died earlier this month at the age of 100. Well, thousands of Christians marked Easter Sunday yesterday in Jerusalem, walking through and worshiping at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in the Old City. The site recently underwent major renovations to the 19th century shrine, covering what is believed to be Jesus' tomb. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, April the 17th. At 7 o'clock, more from the recent AIPAC National Policy Conference in Washington, with remarks from Israeli opposition leader Isaac Herzog and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu via satellite. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Dr. Ruth Westheimer on L'chaim. At 10, a discussion about Jews and Jesus between Rabbi Eugene Korn, Newsweek editor John Meacham, and Catholic Theological Union professor John Palikowski at the 92nd Street Y. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, a conversation with the new deputy of the Jewish Agency, David Breakstone, who talks about a number of issues confronting Jewish life today, when I sit in for Mark Golub on In the News. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, April the 17th, 2017. I'm Teisha Bader.